Hello and welcome to day one of our challenge. We're going to start today by warming up with a sun salutation. So if you're new to yoga, this sequence might be new to you. So just follow along as I demonstrate. Okay, so come to the top of the mat or the top of your space, wherever you're at. Feet hips distance apart. Roll the shoulders back, stand nice and tall. Take a big inhale through the nose. Sigh it out through the mouth. And let's begin. Let's take a big inhale as you bring your hands up above your head. Exhale, slight bend of the knees, fold forward. So your upper body's coming over your lower body. Let your head dangle, your arms dangle. Inhale, halfway lift. So hands come up onto the legs. Straighten the legs, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, slight bend of the knees, fold forward again. Bend your knees as much as you can so you can plant your hands. Take both feet back, lower your knees. So it's like you're in a half plank pose with your knees down. Keeping the elbows hugging backwards and not out to the side. We're going to slowly lower down onto your belly. Hands end up next to the chest. Okay, let's roll the shoulders back. Inhale, lift the top of the chest off the mat. Exhale, lower back down. Let's push up onto the knees, tuck the toes, downward facing dog. So if you're new to downward facing dog, really good thing to do here is keep a nice bend in your knees and imagine you can push your belly back towards your thighs and your hips up to the sky. Okay, so it's never about getting your heels down to the ground, it's about lengthening through the spine. Big inhale and exhale here. And then slowly lower your knees and tuck the toes. Okay, we're going to come to our first pose today. Now, in today's class, we are going to work through the different parts of the body that we need to open up to improve our back bends. So we're not just working on the back, okay? Everything's connected. So we're going to be working on the quads, the hips, the stomach, the chest, and even the shoulders as well. Okay, so the first pose we're going to do is actually down on our stomachs. So come back to that half plank position, plank pose with your knees down. And then slowly lower down again to your stomach. Okay, let's bring the shoulders above the elbows. So your elbows are directly beneath your shoulders here. Spread your fingers nice and wide and you'll find yourself in Sphinx pose. Now, if in this position you feel a little bit of tightness in your low back, lengthen your feet. So widen your feet, sorry. Bring your feet about as wide as the yoga mat, okay, instead of hips distance. Normally it would be hips distance. If you have any tightness there, widen your feet. Okay, so already you might be feeling this a little bit in your back. Now in Sphinx pose, we are never just collapsing into the shoulders, okay? You're digging into your elbows to lift your chest. Ground down through your pelvis. That's going to help to turn on those back muscles slightly. You'll feel your bum muscles contract. Brings a nice bit of stability to the back. Now from here, I want you to bring your right arm across the front of you. Okay, you're going to use that as a little bit of balance. Bend the left knee so that the left foot is coming towards your left bum cheek. Now trying to keep your chest straight, so towards the top of your mat and not turning to the side. See if you can reach behind with that left hand and maybe grab your ankle. If you can't grab it, it's fine, okay? Use your left hand as stability and keep pulling that left leg in as close as you can towards your bum. Grab that foot if you can. If you can grab it, you're going to pull it in as close to your bum as you can. And take a couple breaths here, trying to make sure the chest stays towards the top of the mat. Keep digging into that right elbow so you're lifting your back up away from the mat. Couple of breaths. Very strong pose. Breathe through it. Long inhales, long exhales. And then slowly loosen that leg. Same thing other side. Left arm comes across the front of the body. Use your right hand as stability first. Bend up the right knee. See if you can reach behind and grab that leg. Maybe it's easy, maybe you can't. If you can't, just keep naturally bringing it in as close to your bum as you can. If you can reach it, you're going to push it in as close to your bum as you can while looking towards the top of your mat, top of your space. Okay, so try not to let your head drop here. Look up. Couple breaths, keep digging into that left elbow. Squeeze down through your pelvis as well. Make sure your pelvis is pushing into the ground to lift your chest up. Make sure you breathe in. And then slowly release that. Lower your chest back down. Bring your hands next to the side of your rib cage. Push up onto your knees. Tuck your toes. You're going to walk your hands back and we're going to come up to standing, okay? So just come on all the way up. Okay, so what we did there was lengthen out the quad muscles. I want you to pay attention in this class to see where you feel tight because everyone's going to be feeling this different. Okay, let's bring the feet about mat's distance apart, toes pointing diagonally out slightly. I'm going to come into some squats now, okay? Now, not only do we need the length and the flexibility, but we do need strength as well. So hands on the hips, take a big inhale. As you exhale, you're going to bend the knees, squat down as low as you can, back up. Okay, down and up. We're going to do 10, so 8 more. 8, 7, 6, 5, you got this. 4, 3, try to lengthen through the back. 2 and 1, and come on up. Just shake the legs out. Okay, so I really want you to pay attention to if you felt that more in the flexibility or if you felt that more in the strength, okay? Okay, on to the next body part, which is the hips. So we're going to be coming into some lunges now. So to start with, come down onto your hands and knees. And then let's bring the left foot to the outside of the left hand and then shuffle it as far forward as you can so that your knee ends up above your ankle. Okay, so if you bring it up and then your knee comes forward, we don't want that, okay, because that's going to lengthen the back of the calf muscle. We're not going for that. So make sure your knee is above your ankle. Hands come down to the ground. Maybe your toes point out a little bit diagonally. Okay, so the kind of general rule here is if your leg's going out diagonally, so's your foot. Okay, so get your knee and foot facing the same way. If this feels too much, you can always come up onto blocks and come up a little bit higher. If it doesn't feel enough, come down onto your elbows. Okay, the main thing that we want here is to feel a stretch. So if you are up on your hands and you're feeling a stretch, stay here. Okay, there's no need to push yourself and come down onto your elbows if you're feeling a stretch here. Just try to take some long, deep breaths and try to get those hips as close to the ground as possible. Okay, so this is actually warming up for a different pose here. Okay, so from here, I want you to ground down through your right hand, bring your right hand underneath your chest, okay? Left hand can come on the knee and come onto the outer edge of your left foot, open the knee up to the side and sink those hips down. Now maybe you stay here, maybe you bend up that right knee, see if you can grab that right foot with your left hand, okay? It really doesn't matter which position you get into here. Just do whatever one feels good for your body. Maybe you just stay in that low lunge, okay? But whatever position you're in, breathe into it. If you do have that back knee bent up, you're rolling on to the top part of the knee, okay? So you're not really on your knee. It's like you're on your lower thigh. That's just going to help to protect your knee, especially if you're on a hard surface like myself. Couple of breaths. And then gently release that without slingshotting the foot back if you had that hold. Come back to center. Left knee comes back to meet the right. right leg comes up. Okay, so same thing this side. Shuffle that foot as far forward as you need to so that your knee comes above your ankle. Hands flat on the ground or maybe on your fingertips, maybe on blocks if you need it to be a little bit higher. Sink those hips as low as you can. Remember to check which direction your foot is. So make sure your knee and your foot are pointing off in the same direction. Normally it's slightly diagonally. Sink those hips down low. Couple of breaths here a moment. Let's let those hips settle in. So everything is connected, and when we work on these different body parts, it really helps us to understand our own body and what we need to focus on. Let's move that left hand to the middle of the mat, right hand on the right knee, come onto the outer edge of your right foot, open that knee to the side slightly, maybe looking more towards your right knee now. Now again, you can stay here, or you can bend up that left foot and grab that foot with your right hand, and sink those hips as low as possible. Take a couple breaths. Now what you might notice here is that both sides are going to feel different. So you might be able to reach your foot on one side and not the other side. Or one side might start to feel a bit crampy. If that happens, come out, okay? Cramping means you've probably gone slightly too far and we need to loosen off out of it. Cramping is actually a very good sign that we need to work on a little bit of strength. Couple more breaths. Try and sink those hips a little bit lower if you can. And slowly release that foot. Come back to center. Bring that knee back. We're going to tuck the toes under again. Lift the knees up and come on back up to standing. Okay. So that one was working a little bit more on the quads and the psoas muscle for the flexibility. Now let's step forward with the right foot, nice and long into your high lunge. Bend that right knee, drop those hips down. Maybe the hands on the hips, maybe the hands up above. Bend that left knee. Bend it all the way until it nearly taps the floor and then bring it back up. I'm going to do that 4 more times. Drop it down and up. And down and up. 2 more, down, up. 1 more, down and up. Step to the top, right leg steps back. Same thing this side, okay? 5 times, drop it down as if you're about to touch the floor and then bring it up. And 4. You can lightly tap it if that's something you want to do. 3. Just don't bang it down. 2 and 1 and step back up. Okay, just give the legs a little bit of a shake and just notice which exercise is difficult for you. Okay, next we're going to be working on the front of the hips and the quads, okay? So come down onto your knees, untuck the toes. Now, depending on your flexibility to start with here, I'm going to give you 2 variations. So I've got a block. What we're going to be doing is having your block in your hand, bring it behind you, more to the left side. We're going to lift the hips up. Your top of your chest is facing towards the left. Right hand comes up and over. You're lifting your hips as far forward as you can. If you don't have a block, your hand is behind, maybe on your fingertips, and you're doing the same thing. Okay, and back down, and then you switch to the other side. So either using your block or your hand, right hand down, lift those hips up, chest turns more towards the right, left hand up, and back down. Okay, so that's our movement. We're going to be doing that a couple of times. So left hand comes behind, take a big inhale as you lift those hips forward. Exhale, come down, switch to the other side, right hand behind. Inhale up. Exhale down and switch. Inhale up, left side. Exhale down, switch to the right. Inhale up. Exhale down, left side. Lift those hips as far forward as you can. Exhale down, right side. Inhale up. Exhale down, let's do 1 more each side. Left side, and the right side. And back down. Okay, come down onto your bum. Bring your legs out in front. You might already be feeling this in your legs and your hips with the flexibility and the strength there. Bending your knees, keep your feet flat on the ground. Lean back slightly until you find that comfortable part of in the middle of your bum. Okay, so your sit bones. Arms are going to come up in front. Using your core muscles, we're going to lift one leg. Maybe you stay here, maybe you lift both legs. And lengthen as much as you can through the spine. And just hold this for a couple of breaths. Nice slow inhales and exhales. Really focus on trying to get that exhale nice and long. When you exhale nice and slowly, it sends a signal to your brain that you're okay and that you're safe. And it's going to stop your body from going into fight or flight. If you breathe through it. Not just in yoga, but in life as well. Just notice how your abs feel here. And then cross the legs. Just come back down to seated. Lengthen through the spine. And again, just notice which position you felt the most. Okay, so either staying sat cross-legged or you can come over onto your knees. Just depends what feels right for you today. You're going to now start to open up the chest slightly. So let's inhale, bring our hands up. You can also do this standing, by the way. As you exhale, I want you to cactus the arms, but make a back bend and look up slightly. So it's like you're trying to bring your elbows backwards together. Inhale up, lengthen through the spine. Take out that back bend. Exhale, back bend. Draw the elbows together. Inhale up. Draw the core in as you inhale. Exhale, back bend. 2 more times. Inhale up. Exhale. Inhale up. Exhale. Okay, release that down. You're going to come over into plank pose now. So wherever you are, come into your plank. Spread your fingers nice and wide. Wrists underneath the shoulders. Tuck the toes. Lift your knees off the ground. Let's hold it here for a second. So feet are about hips distance. Body is one straight line. Really dig into the mat with your fingertips here. It will take off some of the pressure on your wrists. And let's breathe. Turn on that core. Feel the shakes in the arms. You got this. Just a couple more breaths. Okay, let's lower the knees. Sit back on your heels for a second maybe. Shake out the wrists, shake out the arms. And let's come into some shoulder stretches. So come back to all fours. Keeping your hips above your knees. I want you to bring your arms out as far forward as you can in front of you. And then sink the chest down. Now in puppy pose, normally, if you're doing this in just a general yoga class, you'll rest your forehead on the ground, you'll stick your bum out, you'll let your chest drop, you'll let your elbows go loose. Because we're working on the shoulders today, what I want you to do is try to keep your head off of the ground, look straight down so that you've got one straight line from the top of your head to the base of your spine. Keep your elbows off the ground, keep your arms nice and straight, tuck the tailbone, and now try to get your chest to the ground. It's going to be a lot harder, and you should feel it a little bit more through the top of the chest and the shoulders. So breathe. Really dig into the palms of your hands. Keep that tailbone tucked. Just a couple more breaths. And then slowly lift the head. Walk the hands back. Okay, we got one more strengthening for the shoulders now. Absolutely hate this one, but I hate it because it's good for you. And normally the pose that you dislike the most is the one you need. So we're gonna come down onto our elbows. You can interlace your fingers, you can have them together in prayer, you can have them flat on the ground, okay? Completely up to you. We're gonna tuck the toes under, lift the bum up as if we're coming into downward facing dog, but on our forearms. So we're really reaching our chest back through our arms. Hold it here. A really great one for flexibility and strength in the shoulders. Now, completely up to you. You can stay here. If this feels like a lot, maybe stay here. If not, I want you to turn your head, see if you can look towards your hands, and then try to keep your legs straight. You're gonna move your nose towards your wrists, and then back again. So it's like dolphin press-ups. Let's do 4 more. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower the knees. Sit back on your heels. Shake out the arms. Shake out the shoulders. And that is us done for today. We've gone through the different body parts, through flexibility and strength. So what I would really love for you to do now is to let me know in the comments which pose or movement felt the most to you. Maybe it's flexibility, maybe it's strength. Which body part did you feel the most? Let me know below, and I will see you tomorrow for day 2, where we're going to be slowing it down, so don't worry. Day 1 was a little bit harder because I really wanted to find out where you are all personally tight, because everyone's going to be different. But tomorrow we're doing some yin yoga, where we're going to be focusing more on the back bending and relaxing into the pose to get really deep into the tissue. So we'll be holding poses for about 5 minutes and just letting our bodies go into it. So I will see you tomorrow for day 2.